Yes, I know I'm late, but I mean, late to the part of me is cool shit. So, welcome back to Movie Dump, episode 13, where we talk about the entertainment news late as usual. So, DC is super special to me and millions of people. We adore these characters, connect to them, and they can sometimes inspire us. But holy shit, we've been fucked over and over by one company, goddamn Warner Bros. And there's a reason why over the past 5 years they've lost money from DC movies. They really haven't made a profit for WB. That's a very simple reason for that. Bashing us over the head like Joel from The Last of Us. People who are excited to see more Joel in season 2. Am I right? Anyway, after WB kept making movies of, let's say, random characters we didn't ask for, and here's the thing, Shazam, Birds of Prey, Black Adam would have been better reputation and made money if they actually did the big leagues first and then do smaller characters. So let's talk about the very, very messy history of this universe. So it all started in 2012. DC was the reign of superhero movies. The great and very successful Dark Knight franchise was finally coming to an end with a bang, with The Dark Knight Rises. And now what? WB had nothing. Their biggest franchise ever was gone. Poof. Over. So what now? Well, they wanted to compete with Marvel Universe. You can't blame them because WB, than Marvel, actually owns all of the DC characters and properties. So why wouldn't they want to compete? It makes complete sense, but goddamn WB does what they always done. Until Discovery bought them. Rush it. Don't think, rush it. That's exactly what they did. They were like, what's our second popular DC character? Superman. And this is no lie, this is true. Warner asked Christopher Nolan to direct Man of Steel before it went to the underdog of a filmmaker, Zack Snyder. So that's who they got. Zack Snyder to direct Man of Steel. It was the first Superman movie that got on the trend that I'm on board with. No trunks for Superman. DC Comics have Superman and Batman get rid of their trunks. It ain't the 20s anymore, god damn it. Rant aside, this movie was released and it got mixed reactions. But most people pretty much enjoyed it. Of course I enjoyed it, but what made WB do the thing that ultimately ruined them was that they were upset it didn't make $1 billion. Even if it made over $600 million. But these studios that start a cinematic universe forget. The first couple of movies will not make $1 billion. It takes time. So I'm so sure after Man of Steel, next would have been a sequel. But no, they freaked out. It didn't make $1 billion, so they made Zack Snyder do Batman vs. Superman. Because they were sure that would make $1 billion. And they cut up the original version of that movie so it can make more seats in the theaters, because with movie theaters, the less the time of a movie, the more seats it can fill. Well, did it work out for them? Absolutely not. This time it was received very poorly, because yes, the theater version is a mess. Watch the ultimate cut if you want a good movie. But also, it did not make $1 billion again. But again, it made a lot at the box office. Over $800 million. But this freaked out Warner Bros. So Suicide was next for the editing chopping board. And oh boy, it was by far Warner Bros. Biggest sin of cinema history for what they did to that movie. So after people said BVS was too dark, by the way, WB and any studios, I'm sorry to say this, but most of the time, do not listen to your fans. They will make things much worse. And that's exactly what happened. Since people said it was too dark, WB wanted to make Suicide Squad much lighter. But they made it too ridiculous light by adding pop music to and headache editing. Yeah, Suicide 2016 is a hard watch. And then doing all this made the general audience not like DC movies, and that wasn't good for them. So next was their biggest gem, was Wonder Woman. And yeah, this movie came out and people loved it. It made big at the box office. Not that much drama. Nice. Oh yeah, Justice League 2017. Oh shit, here we go. So behind the scenes was a goddamn mess. Oh boy. So after the mess of Suicide Squad and the perfect balance of the light and darkness of Wonder Woman, WB did their own thing, messing around. They now wanted Justice League to be like the Avengers. Fun and light. And I hate to say this, but I guarantee old WB was happy this happened. Because when Zack Snyder had to step down because sadly his daughter took his own life, the old regime of WB got what they wanted. Because right after that tragedy, they hired Joss Whedon, the man who directed The Avengers, to finish the movie. And he didn't finish Zack Snyder's version. Oh no. WB told Joss to rewrite the movie and make it like The Avengers. Fun. And oh yeah, that turned into a huge mess that WB today is still dealing with. Because it was released and people hated it. Everyone hated that movie. And most of the general audience just moved on. But WB created their own worst enemy. The release the Snyder Cut fans. I will say this. At first, yes, I wanted to see Zack Snyder's version. But as time went on, I moved on. But his fan base didn't. And I gotta say, good for them. Yes, there were the toxic ones, but also there was the ones who donated to prevent suicide charities. So I will say it. If you didn't like Zack Snyder's DC movies, that's fine, but you got to admit, at least he had a plan. After Justice League 2017, they had no plan, and Zack Snyder's DC plans were over. So what now? They did what desperate people do, throw things at the wall and see what sticks. And that's exactly what they did. First, after Justice League, we got Aquaman, and I can't lie, I fucking love Aquaman for how crazy and ridiculous it is, and man, it works. So hey, they got something that stuck to the wall, with my opinion. And I can't lie, it's sad it made $1 billion and Superman and Batman couldn't, but whatever. So we got Shazam, movie that is quite forgettable. It's not bad, it's just for me, I like the other DC movies, but it's pretty forgettable. Well, they were lucky it worked, but it was a box office bomb. The first start of the downfall of DC movies and financially. Because this is when WB just didn't care. They just wanted money. Because they had no plan. We got Birds of Prey. Why? No one saw that. We got Wonder Woman 84. That ruined the Wonder Woman character. And oh, box office fail. But hey, it was COVID, so it does get an excuse. Peacemaker, that was a great show, but again, they didn't establish their big characters, where the general audience did not care about Peacemaker. Black Adam, Birds of Prey, because they had no plan. I know Walter Hamada wanted to do an adaptation of the Final Crisis on Infinite Earths, but why? I ask you why. We only had one Superman movie, no Batman movie, a choppy Justice League movie, so why would he do an Infinite Earths movie? Storyline. Why? You had no plan. So also, with they were cowards at the beginning. And to be honest, without Zack Snyder, had no plans. And they did have a slate of movies, and the sad thing is, only 4 of them on that slate was ever made. That's sad and pathetic. And that was because they wanted these movies right away to make $1 billion, and that's impossible when you don't establish these characters. So now let's talk about the future, an actual hopeful future of the DCU. So Warner Bros. Was bought out and sold to Discovery. Yes, Discovery, who has shows like 90 Day Fiancé and 1,000-Pound Sisters. But hey, don't judge. But David Zaslav wanted DC to be its own studio. Yeah, shockingly, that never happened before. And after months of looking, they found their DC studio CEOs. Yes, plural. So it's James Gunn and Peter Safran, but no one cares about Safran, let's be honest. He deals with the business. Boring. James Gunn is what people are focusing on. And so what we needed was a CEO, a producer that cared about these DC characters, and that's James Gunn. He's a huge nerd, just like us. So James Gunn cares about DC and cares about these characters. We should be hopeful and excited. He's going to do these stories, these characters justice they deserve. So yes, we did lose a man I hoped would continue playing Superman, because he was my Superman, Henry Cavill. But we can't blame James Gunn for this, because this is Dwayne Johnson's fault. You know, the guy that said the DC was about to change because of him. Well, that really didn't happen, dumbass. Because Dwayne Johnson was let go of DC. Wow. Who would think having a big ego would deflate the balloon? Huh. But it's Dwayne Johnson's fault because of his high ego. And let's be thankful Black Adam failed, because can you imagine The Rock and $7 running DC? Now that would be a disaster. Oh my god, can you imagine seeing The Rock on every DC movie? Oh my god, I'll get the noose. But don't blame James for this, because he wrote his first draft of Superman movie Jeez, I cannot speak today. 6 months ago. That was before Henry was back as Superman. So yes, we got our first slate of James Gunn's new DCU. And there's nothing matter of having slates and a plan. But you can't rush the story, and that's what James Gunn said. He said if one of his DC movies isn't ready yet, he's not going to rush it. They're going to take their time. James Gunn, thank you. So, first we got Creature Commandos, and you're thinking, who? I was thinking that also, but they're a team of classic monsters that fights Nazis. That sounds bizarre and great. So next you got Waller, an HBO Max show about Amanda Waller. But I know people are saying, oh, he's keeping the same people, it's going to be a soft reboot, and I think it's a yes and no. Because I think Creature Commandos and Waller will be a part of the old DCEU. Because James Gunn said Superman Legacy is the beginning of the DCU. So after Superman Legacy, yes, we're getting a Batman movie. And I can't lie, I'm not too excited for this because I'm such a huge fan of Matt Reeves' Batman movie and his universe. But he got me when he said it's going to be a father-son story. Yes, they're introducing a new Robin, his son Damian. But yeah, the Bat family is established already. Fuck yeah. Next, we are finally getting another shot, a chance with Green Lantern. It's going to be Hal Jordan and Jon Stewart buddy cop story. That's going to be like True Detective. Again, hell yeah. And that's going to be an HBO Max series called Lanterns. I mean, can I have that now? So next up is a Wonder Woman prequel called Paradise Lost. And it's going to be inspired by the Game of Thrones. Again, yes please. Yes please. So also we're going to be getting a movie called The Authorities. Again, I was like, who? But I was on board when I heard what the story is. But they're heroes who will save the world no matter how vile and violent their one mission is, to keep the world at peace. No matter what the cost is. So they're like The Boys or like the Injustice game. So also what we're getting that I can't lie is one of the DC content I'm excited about is Booster Gold Show. We're also getting a Supergirl movie where Superman is about peace and justice and hope. This version of Supergirl is the opposite. And that excites me. Then we're getting our first DC horror content. Oh yeah. Swamp Thing is such a tragic, amazing hero. I mean, he really is. So, by the way, James Gunn said this was just half of his DCU Chapter 1. That's called Gods and Monsters. So what's going to be the rest of the Chapter 1? Well, first, I don't know why no one's talking about this. God, non-DCU fans. But Chapter 1 is called Gods and Monsters. DC gods are the new gods with characters like Orion, Mr. Miracle, and a perfect way for the DCU to introduce the main villain of probably James Gunn's new DC. That could be Chapter 2 or whatever. Is Darkseid. I'm just saying, James. Make a new Gods movie to introduce your big bad. Just saying. But yeah, that's really it. I just wanted to talk about DC's messy history because I want DC to be great again. That's right, I want DC to be great again. Okay. I don't know why I did a shitty Trump expression. But yeah, I just want DC to be good again, because I know DC has potential, because I've been a DC fanboy my whole life. So yeah, I hope James Gunn gets it right. I know he will. And don't judge him too much. Zack Snyder's doing his own thing with Netflix, so support Zack Snyder's future films. And yeah, you guys are awesome. Yeah, I don't know what to say, but yeah, you guys are awesome. Thank you for subscribing and supporting this channel. I really appreciate it. And yeah, I'll be back, whenever. Yeah, you know how late I am with videos, but I'll be back. Subscribe, like, share. You guys are awesome. Peace out.